Hey, all you Holly weirdos, we are back from our little hike. Okay, it wasn't little. It was a bit longer than usual, but trust me, we made it back in time for October. Now, I know Bryce has been busy. He's been a little busy, theatrical B at the Firefly Theater Productions. If you're in NoHo, then you know. And me, myself, I've been exploring places in and around California and upstate New York, but we're kicking things off with the latest investigation that I'm going to tag your little haunted tushies on. You ready for it? We're kicking things off in Big Bear. Yes, baby. Let me tell you, Big Bear is haunted like a mother, and this Mary hasn't been given her haunted flowers. So if you're just turning into this podcast for the very first time and you don't know the drill, let me recap it for you all. You're going to grab your K2 meter because you're going to join us on this audible interview and investigation tour of the Captain's Anchorage, one of Big Bear's little prized nuggets here. It's one of their oldest restaurants with a lot of history and a lot of haunted history. You're also going to grab your crystals. You're going to light that candle and you're going to sprinkle that salt circle around that haunted tushy because we're going to take a deep dive into the ghostly lore of Big Bear, California. And we're definitely going to cross this threshold into the Captain's Anchorage. Let's get Hollyweird in Big Bear.
Hey guys, it's Matt Lytle. You might know me from Ghost Loop on HBO Max. My best friend and co-host, Chris Califf, and I have a brand new true crime podcast airing Friday, November 7th, where we do a deep dive into the biggest true crime stories happening in our world today. You can follow us on Instagram at The Unkindness Brothers and watch us on YouTube on November 7th. We'll see you there.
Hey weirdos, before we begin, I want to provide a content warning. This episode contains discussions and themes that may be triggering for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Additionally, most of the interviews featured in this episode were conducted on September 14th of 2025. And with all that said, let's get Hollyweird. Hey friends, welcome back to Hollyweird Paranormal. And to start off our spooky month, I'm going to take you on a little paranormal investigation and interview tour of a very haunted location outside of Los Angeles. We're going to join my friend Tawney Lewis, who you probably heard about in past episodes. We definitely interviewed her a year ago. She's a phenomenal paranormal investigator, researcher, and medium. Her and I actually just traveled to upstate New York where we investigated Lilydale. If you know, you know. It's literally a really cute village where it's made up of psychics and mediums. It has a fairy trail, it has woods, it has elementals, a pet cemetery, and a ton of haunted history and ghosts. And we were able to investigate a lot over there. So don't worry, we're definitely going to cover an episode there very shortly. But on today's episode, friends, we are going to tour a place not too far away from Los Angeles. Today we're heading into the San Bernardino Mountains, to a place where the line between the living and the dead is as thin as the mountain air. We're heading to Big Bear Lake, baby. 2 hours from Los Angeles, it's a retreat for skiers, hikers, and vacationers. But underneath the postcard views of pine trees and sparkling water lies a history filled with secrets, smuggling, and even shadows. And within that history stands one of the most haunted landmarks there, the Captain's Anchorage. Have you heard of it? You should. It's very well known in those parts for a really good dinner, some good ribeye steak, and quite delicious cocktails. The Captain's Anchorage has been a landmark in the city since 1947, when the owner, actor Andy Devine, opened it. Andy Devine was a famous actor turned restaurateur who wanted something special to entertain his Hollywood friends. And so the restaurant and bar became that center point for not only the locals in that little town, but for many other celebrities of that time, such as Roy Rogers, John Wayne, Lee Marvin, Jimmy Stewart, and many more who made the trek from Los Angeles to partake in the extensive menu offerings and even off-menu offerings. You see, the Captain's Anchorage wasn't just a full-on restaurant at that time, if you know what I mean. The original place was named the Sportsman Tavern, and it stuck until 1972 until it was changed to the Captain's Anchorage by Woodrow and Charlotte Meyer, who purchased the spot from Andy Devine in 1966. But the Sportsman Tavern wasn't just a place where people would go and get away, specifically men, just to have a nice little cigar and a cocktail. Oh no. Now, according to Patty Shriven, the current owner and daughter of the Meyers, Andy Devine had other things going on in that restaurant. You see, there were rumors of illegal gambling at the Sportsman Tavern. In fact, in the upstairs part, small booths that were original to the design of the restaurant that looked like the perfect size for a slot machine, if you know what I mean. According to Shriven, poker games, roulette, and possibly horse races bets were pretty much established on that location. But it's actually what occurred behind the restaurant. There were a couple of cabins that were built, and these were in places for the movie stars to sleep off their liquor. It was actually a place where prostitution most likely was held. Eventually, those cabins were torn down, but the history still resided. But let me paint a picture of this location for you, friends. You see, the Captain's Anchorage is built like a grand log cabin, cozy and rustic. The kind of place where you can imagine maybe Clark Gable or Marilyn Monroe sipping a drink by the fireplace. But behind the timber and charm, there's an eerie undercurrent. You see, the most famous ghost here is George. Some claim he died by suicide. Others whisper it was foul play, a murder disguised as tragedy. Either way, George's story is imprinted on this building. Patrons and employees have reported cold spots, footsteps, glasses and bottles of alcohol shattering out of nowhere, and even possibly a full body apparition appearing at the top of the stairs on the second floor, just down the hall from George's former office. But George may not be the only spirit here. Over the years, voices, shadows, strange movements have been witnessed throughout the restaurant, especially in the bar area, the upstairs hallway, and even outside where the cabins once stood. So, of course, this would have been the perfect place for us to do an investigation. Now, joining me in this investigation is my friend Tawney Lewis, who you've probably heard on this podcast. We interviewed her a year ago. Tawney has a slew of credits and interviews. She actually was recently shown on My Haunted Hometown Season 2 and even Season 1, and she's also been on Ghost Adventures. She actually investigated the Poltergeist house with Zach Bagans. Highly recommend that you go watch that episode. She killed it. She is a paranormal investigator, researcher, and medium. And she leads classes and workshops, specifically based out of Lilydale. Now, she lives here in Long Beach and joined me on this one big trip to Big Bear, where we went to go and do a walkthrough and to interview the managers and one of their longest standing workers, Lorraine Little, who we'll definitely sit down with very soon. Now, we made the 2-hour trek from Los Angeles on the 18 through the mountains and felt the shift of energy. Big Bear has a lot of great vibes and definitely cleaner air, of course. We made our way down the 18 and we finally found Moon Ridge Way. And there was Captain's Anchorage, a little lodge-style restaurant sequestered off of that street. We made our way into the parking lot, got out. We were instantly greeted by Carlos, Jessica's husband. Both Jessica and Carlos are the managers that run Captain's Anchorage. Without them, I don't think there would be a restaurant, to be quite honest. They are the beating heart of that place. They have been working there for quite a few years, and they absolutely love it there. We were then greeted by Jessica, who soon made her way into the lot. We told her we just wanted to walk around the grounds for a bit, just to get a grasp of the land. Jessica soon makes her way in the restaurant to start with the opening procedures. We make our way around the restaurant through the grounds. We didn't want to know too much about the haunted history ahead of time. Just enough background to set the scene, but not enough to cloud what we might experience for ourselves. Tawney, in particular, didn't want to hear anything about the active apparitions or hauntings reported there. A true mark of a good medium and, of course, a paranormal investigator. For me, I was eager to test out my mediumship abilities, something I've been told in my recent visit to Lilydale that was stronger than I realized, and I was ready to put it to the test inside Captain's Anchorage. The moment we stepped out of the car and walked the grounds, I could tell you that energy was undeniable. Tawney immediately picked up on multiple presences, especially near the woods and the side of the house where she felt a dominant male spirit. But it was at the front of the restaurant that things shifted. She stopped and told me there was a man peering down from the second floor window. He was prominent, inquisitive, and very aware of us, almost demanding to know who we were. Intuitively, Tawney told him that we were here to see Jessica, the manager, that we were expected to come in and not only interview her and a few workers, but to also speak with him and his other guests that we couldn't see. We finally make our way inside the restaurant. You could definitely feel and smell the history. You could literally smell it because they were actually getting the kitchen ready and prepped. Tawney and I were given access inside, along with a bit of the restaurant's history. That was all we wanted to know. No spoilers. Well, maybe one. You see, the most famous apparition that people have seen and felt and definitely heard is the apparition of George. Who he really is, no one really has known, and they've been trying to research. Based on what Jessica has told us, George was the bookkeeper who worked under Andy, the owner, and he made sure that operations ran smoothly here. They believe George is behind a lot of the hauntings, specifically the bottles breaking, because that was something that was sent to me via email, a video that showed a very expensive bottle, I think of champagne or wine, moving from its case outside from the side of the bar as it crashes to the floor. It looked like a force went in and pulled this bottle from its holder and just yanked it to the ground. Some of the workers believe that this is George. Maybe he's really upset with how things are going in the restaurant. But we'll later learn that that might not be the case. But the reason why they feel that this is George is because not one but several psychics have definitely identified him as the gentleman who pretty much oversees this restaurant, the bookkeeper. He is definitely connected to a death on the property, his own. You see, back in the early 60s, George had taken his life in his office. For what reasons, we do not know, but we know that he had struggles and he ended his life in that property. And it seems like he's still continuing the afterlife there. Since then, his office was turned into another separate dining area, probably an area used most likely for private gatherings. But his energy is definitely felt and heard and seen on that part. It was time for us to pick up our devices and start a session with the dead bell. And what we captured, well, it shocked the both of us. Me more so than anything else, and here's what we got.
Pretty much get to know you, tell your story, so we can honor it. And, of course, protect it.
And your beautiful property.
Yes. Are you here with us? Can you ding the bell? Thank you. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You have one of the most beautiful properties I've ever seen.
You're very proud of it, aren't you? You're not proud of it? Come on, my dude. You gotta talk to him.
It was better when he was here. When he was the one in charge.
Oh. So you ran the ship. This was you're the captain. Were you the captain of this ship, sir? And you made sure the ship was constantly running and it wouldn't run without you. Yeah. I bet you were. I bet you were. Are you happy with... But wait. Are you happy with how it's going right now? Are you happy with its operations? It seems like you have a really good group of young people who are trying to make it what it was, you know? They're trying... Yeah.
Joking, they're okay. They're okay.
They're learning, but they really care about this place. They care about you. That's why we're here. Do you know Lorraine Little? Are you familiar with Lorraine? No? She's been working here for a very long time. She's one of your bartenders. Are you familiar with Jessica? She's the one that pretty much is in charge of the events. You just know them as people that help run the ship for you, right? Are you alone in this room? Is there someone with you? Is Andy with you?
Who's Andy?
Andy Devine. Is it Devine? Is it Andy Devine? Please pardon me. I'm sorry. I was so enamored with the story and everything in this restaurant. But Andy was a performer. He was an actor, a comedian. He also owned this restaurant too. Are you Andy? Are we speaking with Andy?
Are we speaking with George? George is the other owner?
I believe so. George, did you co-own this with Andy? You could ding it twice for no. George, are you the main operator? George, are you the one that loves to talk? Okay. Are you Italian by any chance? Are you the one that's very Italiano? Great. Okay. I'm not Italian. I'm half Spanish.
I feel like if it's quiet, he gets distracted because he's making sure the operations are going well.
Absolutely.
Were you peeking downstairs at one point, just making sure they were good? I feel like he's busy, like a busy...
You're a very busy man, even in the afterlife, right? Yeah, you are.
like
I can imagine.
Like he's just like, wait, I have to check this.
Yeah.
I have to check that. Did he have a connection with the bar area? Feels like there's something with the bar area. Or did he help purchase stuff? Am I way off? I'm wrong? But he did have a friend. He did have a friend that worked here.
Was he your assistant? Was he your major support with this place? If you couldn't fulfill a lot of the work, which I'm sure you could, but he helped alleviate a lot of the stress, right? You needed him to go out and do stuff to get stuff. He was the one to go get it, right? No, not really? Okay. Yeah, he did.
So there's an event that we're doing in a few weeks where people are coming here to eat this amazing food. I heard it's amazing. I heard it's good. Is that true?
I'm going to stop it right here because it looks like we got an answer. We have an unidentified voice in the background. Now, we do have another voice in the background. That was Carlos. He was actually down the hall from us talking on his phone. So if you thought that was a George talking, that little comment, a little story, the little dancing, that was actually Carlos on the phone. But it was here where Tawney picked up an answer, an audible answer. I'm going to play it for you real quickly.
Is that true? Is that true? Is that true?
It sounds like it's saying no, but it is so quick. However, it is responding immediately to Tawney. And here we are continuing with our session.
I heard the food's really good.
I heard we got some prime steak, my dude.
Oh my gosh.
Sir, it's a 4-course dinner and it's going to be so beautiful. Are you going to make your acquaintance? Okay, I'm really happy that you're going to be here because people really want to come here and they want to enjoy this ambiance. But to let you know on a little thing that's been happening, people love spooky stuff. They eat it up like your wonderful, delicious plates. And if you could do something for them, they're going to come back and spend more money. And they're going to talk about it some more. Can you help us with that, sir?
On September 25th.
On September 25th, can you... Thank you. Hey, you're our boss.
Yeah.
You are going to be our boss, okay? We're going to listen to you. But you have to be a little more vocal. We're going to have this device. Do you like this device? Do you like this bell? We're going to have another device that's like a radio, and you could talk through it. Like, you could say things. We're going to do a thing called the Estes method, where we're going to connect that radio. Okay. We're going to connect this radio to headphones, and you can send messages through the radio for the person that's listening to say. Jessica's going to come up here shortly. We're going to talk about the restaurant and its history. I really want to make sure we get everything correct. And respectfully, we just want to make sure, do you have things that come in here? Things that you call vandals? Yeah, okay. I know, they're little SOBs. I know, I have some outside of my house, and they're very annoying.
He's not a fan.
I know you're not. You're very protective of it. Do they make their way in here? Do they come inside and wreak havoc? Or are you the muscle? You're Italian. You got the Italian muscles that tell them, hey, get the F out of here, right? Or is that somebody else's job here? Or do they come unexpectedly when you're not looking? You don't know, huh?
Middle of the night.
Middle of the night? They come in the middle of the night, huh? Were there cabins out in the front before? Yeah. Respectfully, were those cabins for ladies of the night? Was it one point? Yeah, okay.
Some
Right.
other stuff too.
What? Oh, did you ever do?
Yeah, some other stuff.
Other stuff? I was gonna say gambling. Yeah, you did. Yeah, because I'm seeing it. You guys gambled. You guys drank.
And shoot, the people shot up there over here.
We don't have to go into it, sir. But can you let us know? Were there gang relations here? Were there mafia relations here?
I talk about it. Actually, this is separate. I feel like before this was built, there was some like not, I want to say Western movie, but like cowboy type activity. What do you call saloons in this area? Were there saloons in the Big Bear area? Late 1800s, maybe? Would you know? No?
Okay.
What I saw was some saloons. I don't think they were here. I think they were probably like we're at CBS, you know.
Yeah, they were kind of like
people
further out. Yeah.
And I saw like people being shot, and so I just said, oh, so there's some of that energy over here, which is unfortunate.
I mean, it was kind of like the Wild West back in the day.
Yeah.
Here, yeah. Big Bear has grown a lot. Yeah. When I first moved here in 2009, I came and visited, and half of the stuff that is here was not here, and it grew fast. Were you mad that they were about to sell the restaurant? Were they going to sell it? A few years back, were they going to sell your restaurant? No?
Was there someone trying to sell the property? Like somebody else really interested in buying all of this?
Or was it going to be transferred to some hands that you weren't favorable of? No?
That felt really strong.
What?
Just, I felt like there was a point where somebody wanted this land. Oh, no?
No? No one wanted this land. This was my land.
I just
Okay,
felt,
okay.
and you can definitely correct me. I felt like there was at some point that were people that wanted this land, and they wanted to buy it. They basically wanted to take it away from you, and I was curious if that was accurate. He might just have a Loctite deed. Nobody can get this land.
Good for you.
So this is a speaker, and I'm going to turn on the app where you can actually talk to where we can hear your voice. Thank you.
Okay.
And we only want to hear George, because we're going to get a lot of people trying to come through. Thank you,
Yes,
George.
so you're going to have to kick him out,
yeah,
all
so
right?
take control of this, George, because we want to hear you.
Tawney turns on her Bluetooth speaker that is connected to her phone as she opens the Necrophonic app. This app is a mobile application that is designed for paranormal research and spirit communication, primarily using ITC, instrumental transcommunication techniques. It creates an audio-like environment, incorporating white noise, reversed audio, and sound banks, which users believe spirits can manipulate to form coherent messages, such as EVPs. And even though it's marketing for ghost hunting, the apps are generally intended for entertainment purposes, but I've seen some pretty interesting responses while using this app myself or seeing others use it in action. And this coinciding with our dead bell actually picked up on a lot of things. Now, remember that psychic muscle I told you, or mediumship muscle that I had? Well, it turns out that it comes into play. Another thing that I wanted to point out too is that we are talking about an event that we're going to conduct at this restaurant. Actually, we did. We did an event with Captain's Anchorage on September 25th, to which is why we were there on the 14th. And we wanted to do our due diligence and research before we conducted this event with the public. And don't worry, there might be more in the works in the very near future, possibly one later in October. And here we go with our dead bell and necrophonic session.
Hey, George, are you there? Yes? Well, very nice to meet you. Thank you for talking to Tammy and I. We really appreciate it.
George, what can you tell us about this restaurant in one word? Or maybe two? How many of you guys are here with us? Two? Oh, six? Are there 6 here with us? Do we have 7? George, do we have a couple of watchers or spectators here? Are you keeping them away, George? So you could talk to us? George, are you in charge? Are you in Are you in charge of who comes in?
Whoever's behind us, can you do me a favor and come over here? Hi.
Hello. What's the best plate here? George, you gotta let me know, what is the best plate of food here?
What did he say?
No, is it the steak? Is it the prime rib? It's the steak. You're very...
They all agree. They all said yes.
Yes. That's great.
Mhm.
That's amazing. We're really excited to try some of your food. I heard it's really, really delicious.
Yum.
I know. It is. George, real quickly, 'cause I have to know, we have to know, were you trying to make wine or brew, were you trying to brew beer here? Were you trying to...
Yes.
Was it wine? Were you trying to brew some vino, or I don't know how do you make it, but What were you trying to make? Merlot? A Syrah? A Cabernet? I personally like a good glass of Pinot Noir. I like the dark cherry and the chocolate notes that it has. I know it's a little more richer, but and a little sweet, but that's just how I like my vino.
We have an investigation here on September 25th. Will you all join in?
Sure. Wonderful.
We're going to have a lot of people here trying out the amazing food. Yep, they all. I'm going to try the white noise. I've never tried that one.
Okay. I feel like there's a little girl. I don't know. There's a child presence here.
It is. Okay, it is. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I picked it up outside. And yeah. Is it connected to you, George, or is it connected to the land, or maybe the outside? Is it connected to the outside property? Wait. Is it connected to one of the ladies of the night? Is she connected to one of the women that used to work here? Did she used to hang out around the cabins?
I can hear you.
I'm seeing you play around the cabins. Was your mom a worker here a while ago? Did your mom do business? Did she go into the cabins? And you were...
Yes.
You were... I'm seeing... I don't know. I'm not a medium, but I'm seeing her play outside, but I'm seeing her restricted. Like, you're not supposed to go past here because we're working, and you're supposed to stay here. You were supposed to stay here. Yeah. Are you happy here? Yeah.
Are you about 6?
I'm getting like 8 or 9. Were you 8? 2-ish. I'm gonna shout out some numbers. 2. What is your age? 3? Wait, you're 3 years old?
Wait, there's a few of them. I know there's a few of you. We're just trying to see if we can hear her age.
We're trying to hear her age.
Is she a little girl? Are you 3?
Are you 3 years old? But you gotta ding the bell for us, babe. Are you 3? Yeah? Are you 4? Are you 5?
Are you 6?
Are you 6?
9?
7? 8? Are you 9?
7? 8?
You're 8, right?
Is it? Can you ring the bell again if you're 8?
Were you 8 going on 9?
They're all talking amongst themselves. One says she's 5. The other says, no, I'm 7. No, I don't think they know.
I think she purposely doesn't want you guys to know her age, which is understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, as women, we don't want that. That's our secret.
Hi. Some lady laughed. There's a lady here too. Is there a lady? Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you used to live in one of the cabins?
Hi.
Oh, hi. There you
Hi,
are.
baby.
There's a lady here.
Madam, did you used to work here in the 40s?
She's a wife.
Hey, we just
Yeah.
yeah. Hey. I mean, I would love to have a drink with you and talk to you about what you did here.
I think she's...
How long did you work here? Did you work here 2 years? You worked here a couple of years, right? You liked it here. You worked here in Lake... You were here between here and Lake Arrowhead, right? You were going back and forth? I feel like you were working not only here, but you were working somewhere else too. You were going between two places, right? Yeah?
She's a little bit more private.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, she'll talk. I can tell she's like, this is different.
I know, we're just...
Yeah, she's like, this is new to me.
I know. You guys don't get a lot of us here asking you these questions. Respectfully, we want you to come forward so we can learn a little more about you. But we know that you existed. Can you give us a name? Does your name start with an S? Sarah? Sabrina? Shelly?
So far we picked up on George and possibly Andy in the room with us in the earlier session. And then I brought up the little girl. You see, something unusual happened. Before I set foot into this restaurant, I picked up on the presence of a little girl. I could see her in my head, maybe 6 or 7 years old, playing inside before darting outside towards where the cabins used to stand in the back behind the restaurant. But something seemed to be holding her back, like she wanted to play freely, but she couldn't, and she was restricted from going into that area for some reason. But later, as we sat down with longtime Lorraine Little, she shared something that took us by surprise, and it lined up eerily with everything that I had seen and everything that came forward during the session and everything that came towards Tawney. Let's sit down with Lorraine Little and Jessica, along with her husband, Carlos.
Machines when the marshal was at the front door trying to raid the place. But somebody on one Saturday night was waiting to go into the bathroom, and they heard a little girl, the door shaking, and a little girl's voice saying, let me out, let me out. And I don't think anybody touched any or opened up anything, but I just remember that's the only little child thing I remember from over the years.
When did this happen? What year?
Oh golly, this is probably 35 years ago
Holy,
or so.
okay, she's gonna say I am. I'm not one. But when I was outside, I was picking up on a child, and I kept on seeing a little girl play out by the cabins, and I kept on seeing her. She was like restricted. She was told to stay here. Like, you have to stay here. Mommy's got to work.
And at cabins, because there used to be cabins out in the old days.
I just see her playing, but she stops. Like, I just see her, like, she knew, like, there were restrictions. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, you're giving them to me, too. In the old days, there were cabins. When I first started, and before I started, there was a year before they paved the parking lot, there was a cement plant where the cabin used to be. A cute little 2-story cabin. But when I first started here, this guy named Malcolm that managed the place, Malcolm Cassie, had it torn down because I don't know how Doc approved it, Patty's parents, because it was not his property, but he said the employees were having beer parties or something. Nice little 2-story cabin, and that's also, I think, where some of the ladies of the evening activities went on back in Andy's days. Anyway, go ahead.
Wow, no, but I just see this little girl as I'm out in the front, and she's just playing. Like, I see her hiding. I see her laughing. Like, I just see, like, I'm like, how are you connected here? Like, what is going on? And during a session here, I think we were talking to, what could have been a woman of the night. That could have been her mom, and could have told her, you better stay here. Mommy's got to work over here. And I kept on seeing her. She was going between two places, whether it was like Arrowhead or somewhere. But this was, you were working, like you were hustling, is what I'm saying. But it was like, you got to stay here. I'm sorry. Like, I just kept on seeing that replay in my mind. I'm not a psychic medium.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, you are. Now the bell.
The one bell. Yeah. So the bell is going to confirm
if you hear it go crazy like that, it's saying yes, yes. When you came up here,
was going crazy.
we know her. We know her. That's what they're saying. They're like, we like her. Have her here, right? You love Lorraine. You know her very well. She's one of us. Yes. They're very talkative. Just to let you know, Tawney does not know anything. Neither me. I'm trying to test this muscle, alleged muscle. But Tawney, this is how you know when a psychic medium is real. They don't want to know anything about the property. They don't want to know about the history. So what we're doing right now is going over, yes. Thank you. We're going over the history. We want to make sure we get it right. And we're also wanting to know about the haunted history, see how that correlates. Because Tawney picked up on so many things, and they're very talkative. Like they're like, yes, what's going on, kind of thing. And she picked up on a lot that maybe you guys can say yes, or maybe confirm or say no. But I guess we could start with you, Lorraine. Like, how long have you been working here? Sorry, with Lorraine.
November, 47 years.
47 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very, very
Are you from the area?
No, I grew up in the Midwest, but I've been in Big Bear 51 years.
Wow.
In California, one year before that, 1 year down below, and then the rest.
What drew you here?
My sister wanted to move to California for the winter. She knew one girl, and we knew one girl in her family in Inglewood who had been back visiting her uncle, who my sister ended up marrying, getting pregnant by marrying. Anyway, back in Iowa, and Maryland, my sister wanted to come out here for California for the winter, so we went to Inglewood, where they had her parents had 2 houses on the property, and then I met my son's dad a few months after that down at the beach in El Segundo, and that summer, his best friends moved up here, and he missed them, so we followed them up in December of 73. It's been up here since. And then I started here in November of 78. So I lived in town 5 years before I started working here, and I'd heard stories about the place, and I thought, even though while I was kind of poo-pooing it, I had a lot of friends in Iowa that lived in my hometown in ancient old houses that had some really creepy things happen in their houses. So I thought, who am I to say there isn't? Just simply because it had never happened to me. And the first thing that happened, used to be called Table 8, the table by the corner of the fireplace downstairs in the dining room. The one on the far one. I had a short sleeve shirt on, and I'm writing an order, and I felt like this up under my sleeve. I keep the Yellow Pages fingers. You're too young to remember the Yellow Pages.
I remember the Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
I'm that old.
And I grabbed at my arm. There was nothing there. Instantly, it was do. So I yanked at my arm again. And by this time, of course, people at the table are saying, "What's wrong?" or "What are you doing?" So I don't know. There's something there, but. And then if things first happen, you try to say, "Oh, it's something natural." You try to explain it away, but you just can't.
You just couldn't.
The Crown Royal bottles blowing up. Case in point, the beer bottles used to be downstairs in the bar on the very top shelf where there's a garland now. We used to have the beer bottle display on a little plank, and then it dropped down into the well where the lights are. So all of the bottles touched. And each time, 4 times while I was behind the bar, Heineken, Elephant Rhino, Zima, and Michelob Light or something. One bottle, nothing, no warning, with customers sitting at the bar, everything, just fly out. It wouldn't clear the whole bar, but it would stop before it cleared the actual bar part, but it would just catapult down and hit the mats behind the bar, and nothing, no indication. The last time it happened on a Friday night, this is when I wasn't going out with Scott yet, but he was dating Annie, who worked here, so he was at the middle table in the bar. And he didn't believe in ghosts, but he saw this one. Debbie came behind the bar. It was okay in those days. It was later on a Friday night. Directly underneath the beer bottle display, about this far below, talking away. Nothing to indicate anything. All of a sudden, the Zima bottle, which had been on the far end, just crashed down between us. It would have hurt us if it hit it. There's about this much space between us. It just slammed down. Wow. And Debbie's like, "Yay, George!" She wanted to take the Zima bottle, which she did. And I looked over at Scott, and he said, "Damn, I wish I wouldn't have seen that." I said, "Okay, now what? What are you going to say?" There was no earthquake. There was no squirrel. There was, running behind.
There was no explanation.
None.
So you have another ghost here, is the ghost of Zima. They don't make Zima anymore. I remember Zima in middle school. I'm like, that was the cool drink. And now I don't think they make it anymore.
I don't think. I just remember the Elephant Rhino, Zima, Michelob Light, and Heineken.
Lorraine, who's George?
Well, I'm not sure if it's his real name, but you've seen the picture. Well, there's one in the hallway here in the originals downstairs in the little foyer by the bathrooms. My friend's father is in the middle of the picture. He's the one that gave me the picture, his son, because Johnny knew how badly I coveted it. So finally he gave it to me, and then I finally gave it to the place. So it's really neat. But there's one in the hallway too.
Okay.
He's the one on the left. Supposedly was the bookkeeper/bookie, and a kid, he's probably in his 70s at least now, about 25 years ago, walked by that picture, and he worked here as a teenager. He didn't know the illegal part of it, but he said, yeah, that guy's name was George, and he was the bookkeeper. So we always thought that was George, because he's just kind of staring out at the camera. Everybody else is just smiling. But anyway, supposedly he was murdered upstairs or committed suicide because he was embezzling. And there were Andy Devine allowed the gambling to go on, but he wasn't a part of it. He allowed it to go on here. But Bugsy Siegel was up here. I mean, who knows how deep the gambling interests are. I mean, it could have been big time. And supposedly he was investing money and died upstairs somehow by his own hand or murdered.
Do you know what year that was?
I would say probably sometime in the 50s.
Okay.
Late 50s.
You mentioned when you moved here that you heard of stories of the paranormal connected to this place. So this has been happening since... When did the story started becoming popular? Like, was it already popular or circulating around the town in the 70s, you say? Or,
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely by
So
then,
people
yeah.
were already experiencing things here as early 70s, maybe.
Yeah, I had heard about it when we moved.
What was the most popular story you heard before working here? Like, what?
I can't remember,
Okay.
but I do know. So before I started here, a couple of the bartenders that worked here, Dave Martin, who's since died, he was a big time realtor up here. But anyway, he said that he walked out and left the money, everything in the till one night. He said he was the only one here in the bar. He couldn't discern words, but he heard mumbled conversations from the downstairs dining room. And as he started to get closer, it faded, and it wasn't. Nothing was there by the time he got there, and it spooked him so much that he just left. I'm not spooked to be here by myself. I can be creeped out, but when people leave, I love it actually. I just like.
I feel that way too.
quietness.
Like, I don't feel like anything's bad here. Like, I feel like I'm in a room with some really nice people.
Yeah, I think they are. But anyway, so I started doing the money, and I caught a movement. I looked up, and reflected behind me by the big curved handle at the end of the bar, there was a hand waving, not like this, but sideways like this. And I turned around, and there was nothing there. But I saw something. I was, as I say, if I'm in the kind that would think, oh God, I'm here by myself, maybe I would think I would imagine it. But oh no, I just looked because of the movement. It was a hand doing this. I looked around, and then another time in the hallway. This is before everything was redone. There was a little hallway that went just from the bathrooms to none of the office stuff was there. It just went connected to the kitchen. And on the same thing, I was standing there at the register doing the money, and I jumped up because I saw something move in the hallway, and it wasn't something. It was something high enough to hit my peripheral vision. It wasn't like a rodent or something. And I walked around and peered into the kitchen. There's nothing there, but there was. When I saw something, and other people that don't work here have seen blobs, and people that work here too have seen shapes and different things moving. And when I clean up here on Saturdays, I always think, well, hi, Carlos, what if I'm in the bathroom cleaning, and I hear footsteps in the hallway, and I think, what would I do? And I think, would I just open the door and confront them? And I think, maybe I would, just to see, but I don't know. I probably would. I mean, they're not going to kill me or anything. You should talk to them. Yeah,
I don't think they mind that because they're very talkative. We'll get into very, very shortly, but everything that you're saying, there's a knock over here. Everything that you're saying is paralleling with what we experience and what we've been hearing and seeing. Have there been any full body apparitions?
Oh yeah, people have seen full body apparitions.
Who have they seen?
I have. Well, they've seen full body blobs where they can discern a head.
Yeah.
I don't know about arms and legs, but obviously a being of some sort.
Right.
But me, I saw that shape going through the little hallway that was there at the time, and the hands waving, my voice, my name being called, my hair being yanked.
Carlos has seen someone.
I've seen an apparition here.
You have.
Can you explain?
This was maybe 2 years ago. It was right before we got the new wine list, because we were actually sitting down with the wine vendor, Patty and the wine vendor. And we were at the middle table downstairs at the bar, and I was kind of facing the stairwell. And we're trying some wines, and we're not too deep in the wine tasting yet, so it wasn't a drunk situation or anything like that. And the rep, Steve, goes, "Oh, you're gonna like this wine." He cracks it open, I try it, and right when I try it, I see a gray figure start at the bottom of the stairs, stop at the landing for just like a second, and then go up. But not all the way up. It kind of disappeared by the time it kind of went halfway up that second set of stairs. My jaw dropped. I didn't say anything. The wine rep thought maybe, he's like, "Oh, is the wine that bad?" and he's just, I'm like, no, I totally just saw George or something. And they looked back, and obviously it was gone, but it was just 2 steps at the bottom, stop at the landing, and then kind of continue on.
Wow.
So that was my experience.
That was your experience.
The apparition. I had a little other little things here and there, but candles on this table being lit when I come to fetch a bottle that needs to be replaced for the downstairs bar. And it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and I'm like, that's so strange. Like, we haven't been up here since Sunday.
And they're just lit?
It was lit, and those are like maybe 24 hours if we're lucky. If it's,
And this is all like, what is it, the oil or?
Yeah, it's like a little fuel cell.
Fuel cell, okay.
Mm-hmm. And I blew it out, grabbed the bottle, come back to fetch another bottle, and that same candle's lit again.
Well,
So those are the I think, what other little situation? I think when we first came in and the wine glasses, that was one kind of funky little story. The wine bottle being pulled off the shelf. I wasn't here for that, but that was caught on camera. But personally, I think it was just that candle, the apparition.
I think your message from Medium Bob too, because he was like a big skeptic before he worked here. I've always been like a believer, but he was a skeptic, and then like slowly but surely, I think apparition really did it. But I think you're starting to get open to the idea when we had a medium who's now passed. He was a regular here, and he like gave him a message from George that only like someone or
it was
someone
2.
observing.
He gave me 2. First, he was just like, "Oh, George is glad that you're here." And I'm like, "Okay, Bob, whatever." Like, no, I'm not really buying in too much into it. And then me and another bartender had a little situation going on where it was just like, I wouldn't even call it an argument. It was a situation that happened. And it was kind of lingering with management at the time. I was just a busser, and she was the bartender. And Bob goes, "Don't worry about what's going on between you and the other employee. Like, it'll all work itself out."
okay.
And when he told me that, I really didn't think it was that situation, because it wasn't really a grand, like, oh my God, we're like butting heads. I'm like, okay, this is just not for me. I'm going to kind of keep my distance. So like for a couple of days, it didn't really like make sense, or I didn't think anything of it. But later that week, she ends up getting fired. And yeah, that's kind of how I feel like it worked out, or it worked itself out. And she didn't get fired because of that situation. It was a separate incident that got her terminated.
Yeah, she was meant to be out.
When you mentioned the footsteps, you remember Peggy who worked here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Peggy, this is on a Sunday night, well, probably 8-9 years ago now. I was the only one in the bar. Peggy walked in from the dining room. She'd been bussing, and she was talking to me at the bar, and all of a sudden she looked over towards the stairs. She said she had just watched a khaki, whoever it was had khaki pants on, come up, just walk up the stairs, where she just saw the cutouts on the thing. She couldn't see it beyond this, watched feet come up the stairs. So we went, Kathy Green, when her husband Mike was alive, we went in the dining room and got him and came upstairs, and it's on a Sunday night, dead time of year, nobody was up here. She watched, she saw him.
Through the little slats?
Yeah, through the slats, and I was facing that way, so I could, but golly, the Crown Royal bottles blowing up 3 times, the Crown Royal bottles. I mean, have you heard those stories?
Yeah, we've been hearing stories. Tawny's going to go into that very shortly. want to know, like, was this place ready to be sold at some point, or someone wanted to buy it, or someone wanted to, it was like a change of hands? Could it have been a long time ago, but was someone very interested in owning this property?
Like they wanted to buy it.
Well, Doc Patty's parents, who bought the place from Andy in '66, leased it out for a few years in the early '80s. That's the B.G. Finito, Bill Finn, Greg Polito, Bob Berkowitz, and Guy Oakes, who was also cooked here and was like the manager too. But Guy was made to leave because he opened up down at the Robin Hood something called Fire Texas, which is direct conflict with this place. But other than that, and then Doc got the restaurant back a few years later from where he leased it. He leased it in the early '70s too to Bill Irwin, the people who started the Anchorage. He brought the sign out from Aspen, the whole business out. But other than that, selling, I haven't heard anything. Patty would know, but I haven't heard other than from Andy.
Does that feel like a past feeling? Or, oh my gosh, I have like crazy ringing in my ears right now.
It's a vibe. When the ear rings, something that means a spirit around.
Yeah.
No, I didn't feel like it was sold. It felt like somebody really wanted to buy it, and that George or somebody was like, "No, absolutely not." It didn't happen.
Said Pat, we have a picture downstairs. Each time it was taken, it was the same. It was right here. There's a guy like in a black kind of top hat, almost like he was coming out of the wall. I'll find the picture and show it to you. Have you seen it, Carlos?
Yeah, I think you did show it to me a couple weeks ago when you came back.
And some other psychics who were in here once said, this is some kind of a portal right through here. It was...
Yeah, I remember the random.
There's some things coming in.
Remember I told you the random.
I thought of the word portal.
Yeah.
Oh, there's someone that was
It
like
was a
not
random
a good vibe.
who's not. No, he doesn't belong here, and
What's that?
it was another spirit here that doesn't really belong here, and I was like, oh, I want to talk to George. He's like, oh, okay, and he went back over there. And I was telling Tammy, I was like, he's not connected to this land. He's just in and out. So that what makes he went over there.
It's weird.
Right, but we're just...
And the things that are coming in and out are
He calls them
vandals.
He has a name for them. He
I'm
calls
glad I
them.
cleaned upstairs last night. I might be crazy.
Was it
He
vandals?
calls them vandals.
He's like, these vandals keep on
But
going.
George, someone was telling me the spirit was like, these vandals are in and out. He calls them vandals.
That makes sense. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
When the bottles would start like breaking, when did that start happening? Because we're trying to find the correlation with possibly it connecting with this change of hands, or probably when Bob was in charge of it, the person that like you guys were that needs to get it.
You, one of the managers.
Yeah.
I don't know. So many things happened when he was here, but Sue was here, our manager, when the first one blew up. If you look behind the bar, there were little step-in stair shelves. The Crown Royal sat up in the top left-hand corner for
That's
years.
extensive, yeah.
Anyway, just business going on. It's normally on a Sunday night. There were, I think, 16 people in the bar. The whole dining room was full. The Sunday night football game was on, so people were looking into the bar. The Crown Royal bottle where it's situated, when it blew out, all the bourbon blew out, they could see it because here's the TV and here's the spot where the Crown Royal bottle is. It sounded like a shotgun went off in the room and no indication of anything. It imploded. It was about half full of the bottle. The glass is thick. There's no heat source up there.
Yeah.
It truly sounded like a rifle blast or a shotgun. And all of the lid was still tightly screwed on the bottle. All of the glass stayed up on the shelf. And if it had blown out instead of in, two people, the girl who started Sweet Basil Restaurant and Danny Dominguez, her boyfriend at the time, they have a realty place out in Big Boulder Bay. Anyway, it would have injured them. The force of it would have, if it had gone out instead of in.
We're trying to figure out if the reason why those bottles are breaking is George is pissed about something or someone or some business that is not going the way he wants it. Is what we're trying to correlate that with and see it. Our conversation with Lorraine Little gave us a deeper understanding of the strange and layered history of the restaurant. We now know for a fact that these hauntings date back to the 1970s, long before the restaurant changed hands. Witnesses have described full-body apparitions, not hazy or fleeting, but defined figures. They're humanoid in form, faceless, yet still clearly bodies, frames, and gestures, moving through the space. And then there's George. In life, George was the bookkeeper to Andy Devine, kept things running behind the scene. He was well-liked, but tragically, he passes away in the late 50s, possibly early 60s by his own hand. The exact reason of why remains a mystery, but his struggles left a strong imprint, especially in his office, the very place where he ended his life, which is now turned into one of the dining rooms. His presence lingers heavy with unresolved emotion. Lorraine also confirmed the presence of a little girl's energy. She recalled a chilling story from long ago when a young girl was found locked in one of the downstairs bathrooms during a raid. That moment seemed to anchor her spirit here for some reason. And on top of that, physical disturbances are commonplace. Salt and pepper shaker shifting on their own, glasses clinking without any rhyme or reason, footsteps echoing, disembodied voices, and perhaps most unnerving, the bottles of expensive liquor ejecting themselves from their shelves and shattering on the floor with no logical explanation. Lorraine also mentioned having her ponytail tugged quite a few times as well. So we have a lot of physical, somewhat humanoid apparitions and also physical phenomenon. Now, according to Tawney, George himself even hinted intuitively that vandals, which is such a unique word to use, especially from a time period that he lived in, 40s and 50s, would sometimes come into the restaurant. But we later learned that these disturbances weren't human vandals at all. They were tied to the land of Big Bear. If you guessed it, then you guessed right. Elementals. Ugh. I am not too familiar with them. I know I have a feeling I might have a couple of them outside of my condo, but elementals are not human-like spirits. They're spirits of the earth. It could be water, fire, earth, wind spirits. And they don't have a specific shape, but some people believe that they're pretty decent, while others say that they could actually wreak a little bit of havoc. But we soon turned the mic over to Jessica and Carlos, two members of the restaurants that are the heartbeat alongside Lorraine. Without them, the place wouldn't function as smoothly as it does. And what they revealed added even more depth to this ongoing, evolving haunting. It almost feels as though later on in this interview, the restaurant itself chooses who belongs within its walls and who it lets go. Jessica, I'm going to move the mic to you. I want you to kind of walk us through your journey and experiences here in the Captain's Anchorage, because you come and work here and you end up finding a partner here as well, from what I understand.
Oh, we've been together for 17 years. So
Wow.
we moved up here together, I don't know, 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we met at another restaurant when we were kids, but
Okay.
yeah, so we ended up moving up here. Always wanted to work here, actually.
Oh,
like
really?
this is the goal. Like we wanted to work here
In the Captain's Anchorage?
at Captain's. I mean,
Wow.
I did anyway. I always wanted to like serve here because it was just the best restaurant up here. So my two goals were like bartend at the mountain and then like serve or bartend here. But it was really, this was before COVID, so it was really hard to get a job here. Like people that work here have been here for decades. So
May I interject? It used to be the joke that you had to die before you got a job. Somebody had to die before it was open.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That shit,
That's-
it was, there was
Or a pandemic, right? Because
Yeah.
there were people that couldn't come back, you know, for whatever reason, and so there was a job opening, and then he was able to get in. We both applied, right?
Yeah. They needed a busser and a server.
Yeah, and that's right. And we were catering at the time.
That's right.
Carlos is catering. And we were just like, cool, like during off season, or, you know, he could take a part-time job. So he came in here to bus, but they didn't know if they wanted to hire us together.
husband and wife.
Yeah. So they waited a little while to hire me, but then they needed a server. So then I guess, I don't know if Patty and Eddie at the time like talked about it and they thought, okay, it'll be fine. So we worked here 3 days. But before we worked here ever, we came into the restaurant and I knew I wanted to work here just because of the history, it's such a
non-corporate.
yeah, it's such a like special place. We came in for dinner, we were sitting at the bar, and Natalie was here, and she was talking to us, and we were just the only two at the bar, like on B1 and B2. And that's when I was like, so is it really haunted? Because you hear, you know, I worked at a different restaurant up here. And then, like, you hear stories. It's like, is it really haunted? And that's when, not like 30 seconds later, a glass from a wine glass fell. You know where we keep the wine glasses? Yeah. It's like on grippy, like plastic. And we like looked at each other and we were like, oh my gosh, hi. Like, hi, yeah. And then the first day I worked here, I was like, hi, George, let's have some fun. And like an idiot. And my very first guest, I don't know if you've ever heard this story, Lorraine, she went to go put pepper in her clam chowder and it was completely unscrewed and she dumped the entire thing of pepper in her soup. No. Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm sorry. But you know, and I was saying, like, the staff is much older here. We are not running around unscrewing things and like booby trapping things. Like, we don't have time for that to clean up messes. So that was really interesting. But yeah, I guess it like happened super serendipitously where like the manager that was here, he wasn't like great. Yeah, and
good sense of humor. That's what I liked about him. But also,
he didn't really have like a good front of house GM experience, and that was very telling. And like I said, we were catering. So then, but like it happened where Patty kind of really wanted like the stars to align and him not to work here anymore, and he ended up like giving his notice within the week of her like wanting that, and then. Yeah,
because I actually called a meeting with her. I was like, hey, can we just have a sit down, me and you?
Damn. And he's a busser sure. At this point, mind you, like with a lot of GM experience, but a busser here because we're catering.
Right.
Sorry,
and I was like, hey, this restaurant's great. I love it. It's got so much history, and it's such a like big part of Big Bear. I'm just afraid that if like it's currently going on the path that it's going, we're not gonna have a lot more years. Or it's just gonna like have a bad reputation. And it wasn't that the manager was like maliciously doing anything wrong. It was just he didn't really care. He just kind of mailed it in. It's like things kind of ran itself. He wasn't part of the community. He was coming up from Victorville up, so he wasn't kind of tied to the neighborhood. And I just told him like there's a few things that like are totally like we're just losing money, lost opportunity, and everyone knows, restaurants are not money makers. You gotta like penny pinch and like really watch everything. And I said, and I'm telling you this because I care for you. I think you're a great owner. I want your parents' restaurant to continue. I want everyone to have a good job, and still have Captain's Anchorage as like the best restaurant in Big Bear. And I'm not saying this because I want the GM position, Patty. As you know, I'm still catering. Like, I'm so happy just bussing. And I think I just started serving like a couple of, weeks prior to that. So it's like, I'm happy where I'm at. This is not like my motive. As a matter of fact, like I don't want to manage. Like, I'm very happy just like taking the weekend catering gigs that I want, spending the time with my family. If there's a get together, a family party, I can just like not schedule anything and I'm there. Which was very different because I managed for 15 years and it's weekends. So it was very refreshing to be like, all right, I don't want to take a gig. There's a birthday, there's a wedding, there's a this, there's a that. And she's like, oh, thank you so much, Carlos. And, we ended it. And she's just like, I just don't know how to like go about it. And I was like, I don't know either. I just want to give you the information. And if someone comes along, like, please interview them, try to get someone else in here. She's like, okay. Not like 3 days later, she calls me, she says, God works in mysterious ways, Carlos. And I'm like, you're not wrong, but what do you mean by that? She said, Eddie just put in his 2 weeks notice. Perfect. And I'm like, cool. And she's like, well, I'm gonna ask you if you want to take the position. And I said, well, that wasn't my idea, and I'm gonna have to say no, but I will think about it. I'll talk to Jessica, I'll talk to my family, and I'll see if anything comes out of that. And she's like, okay, just, the offer's there. And one thing led to another, we sat and talked about it, and I did miss managing a team instead of just catering with like 1 or 2 people. And yeah, I've been here managing for the last like almost 3 years now.
Mm-hmm. It was a hard decision though. Like I was like, because you know we care about this place so much, but I was like, this is a lifestyle change, right? Like we spent so much time with our kids, and so much family time, and it was really hard. I was like, I don't know if this is like a burden I want you, like, you know what I mean? It's really hard.
It really is. It really
and
is.
So it was hard, but I was like, I just know like he's like the leader of a tribe, and that's the position he should be in because he's so great at that. And with us catering, like it was very small. He was like a tribalist leader, and I was like, I know that you're gonna do so well, and the restaurant is gonna like, you know, do so well under his management. So we said yeah, but it was a hard decision, I'm not gonna lie. And so that meant like we were done catering at that point. We finished the rest of our
bookings
for the year. You know, we had a couple weddings and things like that, but like that was that. He couldn't do both. It's too time consuming. So
All three, you mean? That and a family.
yeah.
It's hard, but I don't think it's serendipitous. I feel like, no, I know this place is not just George, but this place like is a magnet. I think it weeds out the ones that's like, I don't want this, and it calls on the ones that it needs. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a magnet where it's going to attract the right people in and weed the wrong people out, because it's its own being at this point. It's not just George, and I think that's part of this and part of him, and I don't think it's any.
I'm gonna find that pic downstairs.
Yeah, go right ahead. And you, being here, they want you here more than anything. They're like, but that is, like you guys, I wouldn't say it's part of your destiny, but you have. It's not like you have to be here. It's what I'm hearing. Like, no, they have to be here. They're the only, like, if they weren't here, this place would be like next door, is what I'm hearing. So
that makes me feel so special because
they are happy.
Like, I think the way that we care about it is like, I mean, we care so much about it.
No, they're very happy. George is like, well, I could do better, but they'll do. In his way, he knows that you guys are doing, but he's like, well, if I was here, I would.
Okay, yeah, of course. If George
I would be here. You know, I'm doing things my way. Walk me through one of your experiences there that it just replays in your mind. Like, what is the experience that you're like, whoa, there's something like beyond our consciousness here?
It really, I think it just like is a vibe. It feels like it's like an energy, like force field kind of, but it does feel like a time loop, or what is it called? Like a time portal. I don't know. That's the only way I can describe it.
It's like a time slip.
Like the thing, like everything is in a loop, like so many things, right? And it's weird. It's so interesting. It just feels like you're kind of like stuck in this little loop here. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, little experiences here or there, but it's just very much a feeling of it's important. And like, right? Don't you feel that? Like it's important, and like it's our job to like make sure that this important thing, you know, survives, is how it feels, I guess. You know, and I'm a server. Like, I don't know, like,
doesn't matter.
I mean? Like, I don't know, like, I didn't have
matter.
like skin in the game, but now it just feels like
you
so.
Could be a busser.
Like,
you could just be here just to clean the windows.
Yeah,
it's a machine, and it needs that energy to
not
survive.
like love, like that we love it,
Yeah.
and that's a thing. Like that's why it has like this consciousness too, because everyone that is here on this side, like we all care about it and we all love it so much, and that's what our guests can feel. And that's a difference about coming into a restaurant like this, because everyone really cares.
Yeah.
And I think that people that come in to eat feel that. So yeah, I don't know.
And finally, we move the mic to Tawney. And she then shares her readings and imprints that she collected during her walkthrough. Now, as I said before, Tawney came in here pretty cold. She didn't know anything about the haunted history of this location, nor its full history. Now, while we were doing the walkthrough for that first hour, she was recording everything on her phone, on her memo. And here she is delivering everything that she picked up during her walkthrough. as it all correlated and connected with the interviews.
So I am an intuitive medium. I'm also a spiritual teacher. I am an investigator. I've been doing this for about 15 years. I genuinely love this stuff. And so my notes are kind of scattered. It's just whatever I'm getting, I just write it down. So when I first walked up, I felt like there was a man. He was very funny. He was sarcastic, very territorial. Like, this is my restaurant. He even said, "Who are you? Why are you here?" But he was not mean. He was like, "And what are you doing?" And I was like, "We're going to come in today." He was like, "No, you're not." Like that. He was joking. I can't come in. What are you gonna-" He's like, "Oh, okay, fine." And I was like, and I wrote, I said, funny, sarcastic, territorial, very fast talker, and he talks a lot. So I would suggest talk to him. He's not shy.
And Italian.
Yeah, I asked, I was like, I feel like he is Italian, or if he's not, he has darker hair or something like that. But yeah, and he is more up here than downstairs. He goes everywhere, but I felt like this is more like peaceful to him. He also has a friend that's with him that goes in and out, spirit, and he keeps more to himself. He's a little more quieter, plumper, and balding. And so, but he was more quiet. He didn't say anything. George did all the talking. So I'm reading my notes. I feel like at some point in history, it was like a smooth running machine where I don't know if they made something here. Do you know if they made their own, I don't know, beer, or I don't know what it is. I feel like they made
liquor,
something.
wine.
Do you know?
I've never heard. When Andy had it, he had a lot of German beers. If you look against the sidewall downstairs, that's on the top row, the third picture, and it shows the way the bar looked in Andy's times, and there are slots with German beer names on them, but I don't.
Okay, it's okay.
I don't think they made. I had never heard. I would have no idea.
Okay,
actually,
it's totally fine. Sometimes, like with a medium, if they don't pick up something from like the 40s or 50s, I might be picking up something from before this place was even built. So, not a problem. The office. Is there an office here? The office.
When I first started here, at the end of the hallway was the original office. There was a door that had the old-fashioned stamp office. Then another door opened up into the rest of the room where the picture of George and Andy was taken, and where some of the illegal gambling went on. But right where the first booth is, the end of the hallway, it was walled off. And that was the office, and supposedly that's where George died, that area, either that or 207.
After this, can you give us, or can someone give us a tour of that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Okay. When I was walking in, I kept saying, "Go to my office, my office, my." Like, it was repeating, and I was like, "My office, my office." So I wrote it down.
That was his office.
Oh, and he died in there, they think? Or he did?
The story is that he was murdered, or some, either in where the first booth is, which is walled off for the office, or the booth somewhere right next to it, which I think is where that picture was taken. Oh. Because you can see the dormer part and then the stained glass window. So
okay,
somewhere in there.
I was trying to ask him if he's the one that does the throwing of the bottles or the bottles breaking or anything, and he said that there's vandals, and I don't even use that word. Vandals, they come in here, and they're the ones that do like the major damage. So I don't think it's him that's pulling the hair. I don't. He was like, "It's the vandals, the vandals." I was like, "What the hell is the vandals?" So I felt like it was random spirits doing that. So it could be that portal. It could be from. I was drawn out back there, so I don't know if there's just randoms that are coming in the middle of the night. They're like, I don't know, but he made it clear that wasn't him. I didn't feel like it was him. He came in. Who are you? So I wrote down, "Who are you?" And I said, male employee. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Sorry. Oh, I felt like this place was very professional. It was always a very professional establishment. Very protective of the kitchen. He's like, "Don't go in there. I only want the best in there. I only want the best cooks or chefs." Or he didn't want randoms in the kitchen area. And he, like I was talking about, like, we're gonna investigate. He's like, "Don't take them in there." I was like, okay.
Respectful.
Very like, just that's kind of the areas off limits. That's what he made. And I was like, okay, fine. I won't go in there. That's fine. I wrote. I didn't know George, so I put J because I thought maybe John, or I was going that way, and then somebody said George. I think it was you.
That's just how he's always been referred to as George, which who knows, that could be.
I went so it's more than likely Joe. Very important man. May have had some mafia political ties, mafia more, and he didn't want to talk to me about it. And I was trying to ask him about it, and he's like, "I don't want to talk about it."
That would be a gambling. But
she's coming in without like any information.
Oh no, I don't know anything about this place.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he did not want to talk about the mafia stuff.
Even when we were doing the session here, he was like,
again, he went quiet. But downstairs, I was like, "So
yeah, the bell hasn't rung for a while."
Oh no, I turned it off. But while we were asking about it, he was like,
Yeah, he did not. Downstairs when I was sitting by myself, I was like, I feel like there's mafia, mob, and he was just like, I don't talk about it. So, very proud of the clientele, the people that used to always come to the restaurant, a lot of business people. It was like a comfort spot for a lot of business people. People from out of town would come here. He's very, very proud of, I mean, we know this, but so proud of this location. Thought of expanding the business at one point, so I feel like maybe he was going to buy another place, whether it was in Lake Arrowhead or LA, and then it didn't happen. So like this place was successful, and he was thinking about, oh, maybe I'll open one in San Bernardino or whatever, and it just didn't happen. So a woman was popping up, and I was thinking maybe she was like from a brothel, probably nearby.
Well,
Do you get a name at all?
I didn't dig that deep.
Rob was story
I didn't
that
dig
I
that
wrote.
deep into her.
Yeah.
But when I turned on my
second.
spirit box, she was talking to us.
The letter S kept on coming up in my head.
About
Can I tell you what I think her name is? Celeste.
Oh, okay, so that's you got getting it.
It was like I don't know why, but I was like, Sarah? Shelley?
She's very communicative.
And I think she's like the madam or like one of the head women.
that story that I wrote, I meant to bring one up because the copies are downstairs. About 30 years, 35 maybe, about 35 years ago maybe, a girl named Debbie who worked here in the kitchen, you've seen it in the story that I've written. She unlocked the back door and shut off the alarm, came out to the bar to get a 7-Up or something, and there was a woman seated at the last table by the stairs before you would come up, not the main ones down, but against the wall. No expression, and of course Debbie was very startled because no one's supposed to be in here. She said, may I help you? She said there was no expression changed out. Debbie said she ran out of here and came back later on when everyone else started coming in. So, but it would have set off an alarm, but it didn't. Whoever it was a woman though. But
So we have a full body apparition of a woman here. Okay.
yeah, I'll give you a copy of that story.
Nothing evil, which I think you all knew that.
Yes,
nothing
thank God.
evil, nothing dark. George is the most present one. So I'm just writing it down for my notes. George is the most present. And then the female, which you say is Celeste, she was very communicative. Then I felt like George has a friend. I felt like he was downstairs, and he's quiet. He just kind of stands back.
Like an observer.
But he could also have worked here. From what I saw him kind of cleaning. So he might have worked here. He was friends with him. But if there's somebody in history that looks like that, he was plump and he was balding. So I'm just writing it down. I don't have his name. Friend, and then she picked up on the little girl. So
I want to know more about the little girl.
That little girl, man, I just kept on seeing her play and walk.
And she came up on the spirit box too.
Oh, yeah.
The little girl gives me goosebumps.
So we had a lot of confirmation based on Tawney's reading and impressions when we first set foot on the property. But now I wanted to do something a little more different. Now we had more of a living audience. I wanted to bring the dead bell out in front of Lorraine and Jessica to see if George had any final messages or confirmations based on the readings. And this is how it went.
Fine, we'll try it. But everybody else is coming forward. Like, if you want, we could turn it back on. And the reason I turned this off is because I was recording, but now that you're here, we're going to... There you go. And I have this on the lowest frequency, which means that it's the least sensitive, but it was still like that. So real quickly, we have the dead bell on. We have Jessica in our room with us, and Tawney just delivered some notes. George, are you still with us? Can you ding the bell for us?
And right here, I picked up a disembodied whisper. Here it is again.
Still with us? Can you ding the bell for us? Are you not happy with what was discussed? Are you kind of tired?
Are you ready for the dinner service to begin? He might be busy. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Another note with him, and I asked this earlier, Jessica, is he would go quiet sometimes. It's because he's very, he helps you guys run the restaurant. He's a busybody. Like, he's like, oh wait, I'm checking this. Let me make sure.
You know, that feels really like,
no, he needed you.
Resonates. I feel like he's probably like, who's calling?
Yep.
Like, who wants to make a reservation?
Yep.
Hi, George. Oh, it's so nice to like have some feedback, but I do feel like the way that you
He's helping.
that you like came in and he's like, who are you? Like he is very, very busy taking care of this restaurant. This is his restaurant.
He helps run it. And like literally, I got to the corner of the building and he's like, who are you? I was like, oh.
And those
hi.
people that have to leave, I don't think that's because it's serendipitous. That's George. That's George. Like, let's push you out. Let's do it gently and slowly out of my business, kind of thing. Because I need to work. You two were meant to be here to help him, and at the same time, he's helping you. I wish I knew the little girl's name. That's the one I'm trying to figure out. She's a little like.
So when you guys were communicating, what did you had a spirit box and that's how they were talking? Huh?
Yeah, they're gonna be very vocal.
I've never even seen that, but I'm excited to see it that day. And yeah, like do you get that at other places? Is it typical that there's like a lot of participation?
It is. This one was interesting because they were all they were pretty respectful. There's one time I had it on and you could hear like dark voices, like get out. And then this one, I didn't hear it today. I didn't hear that.
It was a bunch of voices.
It was just people like, and they're like, hi, different things. I've heard get out, and I didn't get that here. So I was like, you don't have anything dark here.
No.
But, they sound. They're very normal vibe. I say normal vibe. They're not lower vibe. They're just here.
They're
very
with us,
neutral.
like,
They're
in this like
they're coexisting with you. Yeah, it's like a coexistence, and they're just it's because they love this place and they're attached to it. And I think you might even have former workers who pass that come and go to check on it too.
There's a bartender. She might know. It was a guy. I saw him, but it could have been residual energy.
Yeah.
He was cleaning the counters and I was like, oh.
So that's what I'm very curious to know, is to separate what is intelligent and what is residual. So that's when you start recording, that's when we're going to start to put the puzzle pieces together.
When you say residual, do you mean like it's just because like time is different, like it's not what we perceive it to be, like it was of the past, but it's not like on the other side? Like can you define that for me?
So residual haunting is kind of like, it's taken from a stone tape theory. It's like a rewind of a tape. And stone tape theory, the word didn't come out until, I want to say, the early 80s from a little documentary show called Stone Tape, or the Stone Tapes from Europe. Okay. And it was about this woman who would haunt the castle, and people would see her every single night screaming and crying at the same time, the same location, every single night.
Oh, it's like an imprint.
So it's an imprint,
that's
but
so
it's not
cool.
intelligent. You can talk to it. It's not going to acknowledge you.
It's just like in a loop.
It's in a loop. You see this? All of this is wood. All of this is stone. It absorbs. It's porous. And the people's energy and their emotions, George's energy, time, and emotions is here.
I have chills, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. I always tell guests, yeah, you like that? I always tell guests, like, if the amount of energy, like it's like if the walls could talk, like it just that's just what I like say, you know.
That is exactly
it's like holding so much history like in the walls, you know?
So yes, that is exactly, if the walls could talk, if the trees could talk, it could happen anywhere. It could happen outside, it could happen in here, it could happen with an object too that could just record it. It's so interesting.
Well, friends, that concludes towards the end of our investigation and interview of the Captain's Anchorage in Big Bear, California. Here are some things that the investigation and interview definitely yielded. Mainly 5 distinct, really interesting events, actually. We have disembodied voices. We have phantom footsteps, humanoid apparitions. We also have knocking and movement of objects. And most importantly, we also have the tugging or two of the hair. It's enough to convince me that the Captain's Anchorage isn't just haunted, it's a mountain stronghold for lingering spirits with George at the center. So in conclusion, the Captain's Anchorage is more than just a restaurant. It's a living time capsule filled with history, laughter, and the lingering presence of its most famous ghost, George. Okay, friends, there are definitely some major thank yous that need to be announced right now. We want to give a huge special thank you to Jessica, Carlos, and Lorraine. Thank you so much for inviting us into your space, into your place of work, into your pretty much your second home, the Captain's Anchorage. We feel like we're a part of this home. We're part of this family, whether you like it or not. Thank you so much for hosting us and for planning such a beautiful interview and investigation on September the 14th, following a beautiful event called the Haunted Supper that was to follow on September 24th. We hosted a beautiful dinner. It was a 4-course dinner, prime rib, salad, cocktails, mocktails, dessert with a side of some hefty ghost stories, experiences, and investigations. We investigated the dining room, George's former office, and of course, outside. Jessica did such a beautiful, beautiful job. I can't take full credit for it. I mean, we give most of the credit to her and Carlos and everyone who worked and participated in that event that night. The kitchen, the servers, everyone, they did such an amazing job. This place is so amazing, guys. If you're ever in Big Bear and you want to have a beautiful dinner and experience, and of course, have a side of great ghost stories, they are not afraid to share them. You can even be given a little tour of the entire restaurant. If they have time, go there. Go and spend an afternoon, an evening there, have a delicious meal or dessert, or even have a cocktail. Go see if you could speak to Lorraine. She's always by the bar. She's a very sweet woman. And of course, you know, we were just so fortunate to be in their presence, to hear their stories, and most of all, to collect their experiences. And of course, we have many thanks to give to the spirits of the Anchorage. Definitely a huge thank you to George for letting us in on their secrets. But this isn't the end, folks. We might have another event that will be hosted at the Captain's Anchorage. We're leaning towards October the 26th, fingers crossed. But if you're following us on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Hollyweird Paranormal, you'll definitely get the confirmation there. But we'll be back for a very special Halloween investigation, God willing. And beyond that, well, we got some stuff planned in early December in Los Angeles, maybe at the Heritage Square Museum, and possibly another one mid to late October in Fullerton. Like I said, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hollyweird Paranormal. If you want to learn more about the podcast, you can visit us at hollyweirdparanormal.com. And if you would like to follow me to the beyond, you can follow me on my social media on TikTok. I'm at Haunted LA Girl. You can find short clips of my spooky and haunted adventures everywhere in the States, primarily in California, if you're interested. So always remember to keep your headphones ready, because Hollyweird Paranormal will be taking you inside more haunted spaces very, very soon. Until then, guys, always remember to take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay weird. Stay spooky. And remember, history always leaves a trace. Till next time, friends. Always remember, stay Hollyweird.